Hi everyone, we are here at the Data Plus AI Summit. I have Ollie and Nick with me. Welcome to the Ravit Show. Not a new face anymore to the Ravit Show. It's your second time. I'm kind of, obviously wanting to learn about all the announcements that were made at the keynote. A big announcement around Agentbricks is what I'm kind of curious to learn more about. Nick, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah,
What is
absolutely.
Agentbricks?
Agentbricks essentially takes the pain out of creating agents.
Yep.
So it creates an interface for you where you can just supply inputs, outputs, and let
Yep.
the magic take care of the rest. So inputs, outputs, an ensemble of agents takes care of the rest and
Yep.
produces the first version of your model.
Yep.
It also produces the code and the configurations for the model. And
Nice.
so then you can take that and modify it and improve it further. So it's essentially reducing friction for customers, for anybody who wants to create these things,
Yep.
who doesn't want to start from code and kind of manually stitching things together. To get started, press create, get a good starting point, and then iterate from there.
That's fantastic. Also, what do you think about the cost and quality, which was emphasized as the major pain point with productionizing AI agents? How does Agent Bricks kind of solve that problem? How are enterprise leaders going to look at that?
Okay. Well, in terms of cost and quality, it's really the entire life cycle. So it wouldn't be on an independent basis, but really
Exactly.
these things are long-term processes, right? So you start, you spend weeks doing something, a first version, you spend months iterating and improving that from there. So it's a lot of trouble for the organization to really do that.
Yeah.
So Agent Bricks really allows you to get started really fast. Like I said, friction-free. You
Yep.
get an output from no code, and then you can start getting more complicated and improving from there.
Yeah.
Does that-
Maybe, yeah, no.
Go ahead, Ollie.
Sorry, I know this is not a feature that you've asked about, but we also have our AI gateway, and that does some really clever things in terms of scanning the inputs that are going into those models and then also looking at the outputs. So you can prevent someone from putting in their national insurance number and then it having going off into the ether into a model that you might not have as much control over as you want, but then also on the return as well. So determining what topics that you can talk about. So maybe you have an assistant in a data platform and you don't want it to recommend competitors. That's the kind of thing that it can do. So Agentbricks does do like a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think the AI gateway is more of the kind of governance piece.
Very interesting. Yep.
So that does in terms of the topics, but also like in terms of throughput and things like that, so you don't get any bottlenecks and someone's not abusing it or anything. So yeah, so I think that's like a slightly different answer maybe to your question.
No,
but
I think
that's-
that kind of
yeah.
makes a lot of sense, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. Nick, another one for you is what are some of the Agent Brick use cases that customers are most excited about? I know we had a few customers who have already tried their hands on it, and I'm pretty sure there are a few more who have had a touch on the beta version too, and it was in the beta version, now it's launched. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at the moment we have 3 major tiles that are available. These are the ones I've experimented a lot with. There's some that I can't speak about yet, I'm sorry.
For sure, no worries.
But pretty soon. Well, I mean, it started with information extraction, and that's kind of where everybody's journey begins, because right now, most people have unstructured data and PDFs hanging around. They need something to do. So an easy tool to really get that stuff out. So that tile is really exciting. And really the knowledge assistant one, I think people are really excited about that because everybody's trying to build these chatbots still. Like it's one of those things that you think you've heard about and oh, that's solved, that's easy. It is actually pretty hard to do something high quality. So that tile really gets you started. You just give it a bunch of documents, it ragifies everything for you, and that's like I said, it gives you that first step, and from there you can take it anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's very important for the audience as well, and the first step is the hardest one at times, and then it kind of goes a long way.
So
Yeah,
maybe-
go ahead,
sorry,
Ollie.
Maybe just something to
Please
add.
tell
So
me.
I know you're the AI expert, but I think maybe something that's a little bit more different about Agent AI Bricks, and we spoke a little bit on quality later, but these are starting points and then they do become more configurable.
Right.
And I know there are a lot of things on the market at the moment that allow you to kind of click some buttons, but if you don't like the output, you're kind of a little bit stuck, whereas this
Exactly.
is something that's, for those of you who are Databricks users, you will find quite familiar, is that you might have a way to get started on something, but in terms of like really fine-tuning and going in and changing settings for things that you don't quite like, you do have something that's a lot more configurable compared to something else, which might be a bunch of buttons that you're clicking to kind of get an output.
Yeah, that's pretty insightful, Holly, and thanks for sharing that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here in terms of another big announcement that was made around MLflow 3.0.
Oh, yeah.
So, Nick, tell us more about it. What is it all about? Our audience is kind of curious to learn more about it. I know I was watching it from the front row, so I was excited, but I would love for you to, just tell us a little more about MLflow 3.0.
Yeah, absolutely. This one I'm really excited about. I'm personally use this a lot.
Nice.
Actually, the chatbot on your phone for this summit, something our team built.
Oh, nice.
And our team built it last year, and we used MLflow 2, the previous version, to instrument it, to manage our experiments, to do kind of all the plumbing around that. And what we discovered, it's a fast-moving landscape.
Exactly.
And so the traditional ML tracing kind of frameworks and the way that entities were thought about didn't kind of account for this new way of doing things, to put it mildly and succinctly. And so what MLflow 3 really is, it's the learnings of the past couple of years, seeing how users are really using these things,
Right.
and rearranging those entities into a more unified way. So the way that the models are structured, the way that the traces are managed from the entire model lifecycle, all those things are really coming together in a single unified way that you can really easily think about these systems. And so we actually used it to work on BrickBot, the chatbot for this summit this year, and it was a world of a difference. So I'm really excited about this, and I think both Databricks users and the open source community are going to be really happy with it.
That's fantastic. I'm pretty sure about that. Holly, anything that you would like to add?
I contributed nothing to this chatbot. I have nothing to add.
Thanks, Holly. And great work, Nick and team. Definitely big win for the team and great announcements there as well. One last question is about the platform. How does Databricks use Databricks internally? That is something maybe for both of you, but we'll start with Nick.
Yeah. Well, I just spoke about one. Right? So
yeah,
we
exactly.
really use the platform to build these things. So that's kind of on the AI side. And then on the other side, at our booths here, which you should come check out, we built all the demos for those. And so, we created a fictitious company. We used Databricks to generate all the data. And then we use Databricks also to consume all the data and then show off all the features of the product.
That's
so we
cool.
essentially mock an entire company, pretend we're that company, ingest, create dashboard, like the whole thing. So we basically we use the entire platform. That's another way that we use it. So and I think that's really specific to our team, since we're demoers and evangelists.
Fantastic, I love it.
So that's one way.
Holly?
Yeah. So I came to this team from like a sales background, so I still see a lot of the sales stuff that's going on. But yeah, in terms of internally, we're using AI to help a lot of our customer-facing teams. So we have lots of wonderful data about kind of like what people are doing and what are the things that might be interesting for them. And so we're able to kind of take that data from our various CRM things, from internal documents, from guidance that we have, and so to help people, if they need the kind of a bit of a boost when it comes to starting to make a proposal, that's something that's available. When it comes to writing an email, hopefully there's no dud emails that go out anymore. This is not replacing our sales team, but it's just helping to add kind of like the kind of context and the thing that might not have been at the back of the mind because we've got 1,000 features these days, and maybe something is gonna help people. But then, and there is a talk this week actually about that, so maybe we'll be able to find that online afterwards and send you a link. And then there was a second talk as well this week about Databricks on Databricks, and that was our AI BI tooling. So I think at one point last year, the exec team realized we were spending a lot of money on another tool that wasn't ours, that had very similar capabilities.
And we can do it ourselves.
Oh, we could do it ourselves. So there was some really intense enforced dog fooding for about 3 months where we took a bunch of people who'd never used Databricks before, had always used like a different, dashboarding tool.
Love it.
And we made them use Databricks. And so, don't get me wrong, that team is incredibly talented, but also we had 3 months of really aggressive feedback from people to be able to use AI BI internally.
And I think it kind of helps a lot when you're kind of, getting the right feedback from the users who've been working in that and the customers. It kind of gets you to a level where, okay, we can, we have the real users who have been doing it for years now. And if you're getting the feedback, it kind of makes it easier for the developers as well. But if you have that continuous feedback in the world where we are, AI kind of moves so quickly, and there are so many new features that kind of come up, and keeping up with that in 3 months as well is a huge task. So well done on that. Great work that you all do internally as well by using Databricks.
Yeah,
so that's
really
fantastic.
proud of it.
One last question for both of you. If folks want to reach out to you, learn more about the great announcements, I know you all do a podcast as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about where they can reach out, where they can follow you. I know you all contribute to a lot to the open source community as well. So what's the best place? Holly?
Oh, Goodness gracious. So if you want to learn more about Databricks, if you're watching this quite soon to the keynote, then you can sign up for the live experience. If not, you can catch a lot of the videos on demand afterwards as well. So if you want to hear more about these things, you can watch them on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, Nick and I do have a podcast called Over Architected, where we take our favorite features that have been released from the last 30 days, and we try to shoehorn it into one single architecture with varying levels of success. Often not success, frankly. We end up with something very stupid.
It was very successful.
It's funny, but we end up with some real Frankensteins. Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. And Nick, I think you're more of a Twitter guy, or?
No, absolutely not. Do not follow me on Twitter. You can find me on the podcast.
All right, that's awesome. Nick, Holly, such a pleasure meeting
so
both of
much.
you. Thanks for all the insights. Keep doing all the great work that you'll do. Keep announcing new stuff for us so we can be busy. But all the best. Have a great conference ahead.
Thank you. Enjoy the week.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.